Hello my dear friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Barbara and today we're going to be looking at Mars in Aries. So this video is for you if you have this placement. If you're a cross watcher, welcome as well. Mars in our natal charts deals with how we get motivated, how we handle conflict, what motivates us, how we go about getting our goals, dreams, and ambitions. Also, it can deal with how we express ourselves sexually. Aries is ruled by Mars. So when you guys have Mars in Aries, you are at home here. It is the ultimate power energy because Mars, if you think about it, it deals with that solar plexus chakra energy, that power within, the internal willpower to go after things, the internal masculine energy within. We all have these masculine, feminine energies within us. So when you guys have Mars in Aries, you guys are just going to be all about pushing forward, going after your goals, going after your ambitions, starting things, starting projects. You guys are probably going to be interested in things like being a manager, being an entrepreneur. That's really what that Mars in Aries energy is all about. Aries energy overall is about the self. So sometimes maybe you guys might come off selfish to some people. I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing that, but that is that Aries energy. It's all about the self. It's all about figuring out who you guys are, your true identity. What are you guys here to do? And it's all about passion and purpose. When you guys do have Mars in Aries, I'm actually probably going to name this video that, passion and purpose. That's very much the Mars in Aries energy. You guys are very, very good at initiating things. But what I will say is you guys do struggle with continuing things. You guys are going to be very good at having the idea, starting that thing, being the one that motivates everybody, like, let's do this. But sometimes Mars in Aries energy can kind of deal with that instant gratification energy. So it's like you guys are going to be all about it and you're going to be all excited about it while it's new, while it's fresh. But then when it turns into very much like that day-to-day, that routine type of vibe, you guys might not necessarily be into that thing anymore. This could be throughout everything in your lives. Mars usually does deal with motivation. So you guys might notice this more so in your projects and your goals, but it could be in any area. Let's say you guys are doing a side project, or maybe you guys started some sort of social media page, for example, or maybe you guys are in a relationship. It can even apply in this area as well. You guys want the excitement always. So for Mars and Aries energy, it's almost kind of like you guys are always chasing that next high, that next beginning. You guys love when things end because that means for you guys, it's going to be a new beginning. You guys are very much about that fresh energy. It's that first house, that Aries energy. You guys are the babies of the zodiac. You guys probably didn't like the way that I said that. But with that being said, you guys do have this naivete energy to you guys. It's almost like you guys are fresh, right? It's almost like, in a way, it feels maybe like a first lifetime here where everything is exciting and everything is new. It's that newness energy. Now, obviously, it depends on the rest of your natal chart. Let's say you guys are maybe water dominant or maybe you guys are air dominant. This might change a little bit the overall energy, but the idea is there. For Mars and Aries, it's very new. It's very fresh. It's like a kid starting to walk. Mars and Aries energy is very confident. Sometimes people might be very attracted to the confidence that you guys do bring. And it's interesting because it's like Mars and Aries energy, like a lot of people are always going to be around you guys because they kind of want to feed off of that excitement energy that you guys always have. You guys make everything exciting. For you guys, it might kind of be like whatever you guys do, people around you might think that that's really interesting and really cool. And you guys drop that thing and it's almost like that thing that you guys were working on loses that energy that you guys have kind of pumped into it. So it's almost like whatever you guys do, whether it is a career, a job, whether it is some sort of goal or ambition, whatever it is, it's almost like you guys yourselves add value to it. And it really comes down to you guys knowing that you guys are valuable. Honestly, deep down inside for a Mars and Aries person, you guys think you're the star. That's really what it is. You guys think you're the best. You guys think you're top notch. The energy almost even feels like in a way that you feel like everyone should be following you, and they should. You guys have very strong leadership qualities. Now, what I will say though for Mars and Aries though is like sometimes for you guys to actually succeed in whatever it is that you guys started, you guys might have to have, let's say, a team working with you, which you guys probably will hate because the Mars and Aries person, this is kind of where that like quote unquote, I guess, selfish energy comes from. It's like you guys want the recognition. So it's like, let's say you guys start a business, you guys might not want to do a partnership or something of that sort where it's like it's equally distributed. You guys want to be the stars, right? You guys want to be the number one. You want to be the face. You want to be the best, which is great. But sometimes you guys have to learn from your oppositional energy, which is Libra. Sometimes you need a team. Sometimes you guys need people working, let's say, with you or for you at least. Usually it's probably going to be for you. And again, if it's not an entrepreneurial type of thing, it's going to be a managerial type of thing where you guys are managing a team because it's like to kind of carry out some sort of goal that you you guys have, you guys kind of have to start to learn to pull from that Libra energy, which is your oppositional energy, which is all about people and groups of people. So it's like, this is kind of what you guys are balancing within when you guys have Mars in Aries. It's like, yes, starting things is great. Being number one is great. Being the best at something is great. But to kind of add that longevity aspect to it for something to actually succeed and be over an extended period of time, look to Libra, because Libra is going to teach you guys all about teamwork, teams, negotiating, working with other people, and kind of having these people prop you up, because the Libra energy is propped up by the people that are around them. Now we have Aries, where it's the opposite to that, where Aries kind of doesn't want anything to do with other people. They just kind of always want to do their own thing. So things like, let's say, commitments, contracts, might be a struggle for you guys, because you guys don't want to be tied down to anything, really, because it's like you guys still want to have that option to leave, to do that next best thing, to start that next project, to maybe start that next relationship. But it's like a huge lesson for that Aries energy is, and you guys might start to learn this as you guys come toward the end of the Mars and Aries era for you guys. And yes, it will come to an end, because we do go through secondary progressions, but toward the end of Mars and Aries, you guys are slowly going to start to build and look at what building means, because you guys are moving and progressing now into Taurus. That's kind of how the energies work. So it's like Aries is good at starting something. It's that first house, the first house, number one, being the best. But you guys are kind of eventually going to learn from Taurus, where it's like you've started something and now it's about building over an extended period of time. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, we are still constricted and restricted, unfortunately, by the rules of this physical plane and this physical reality. So it's like things that prosper down here are things that basically you invest time into, you put an effort into, and you kind of build these things over an extended period of time. That is the overall vibe on this earth plane. So the sooner that we learn about it, and we learn about the tricks of the trade, rules that really benefit the earth plane down here, and then we learn kind of how to work within them, well, then we can kind of start to get those rewards that we are ultimately seeking. So that's the whole thing for Mars and Aries. It's very good at starting, but not so good at continuing. And it might be hard for you guys to hear that, because I know Aries energy doesn't like criticism. And I'm going to be surprised if you guys even get through this video, because Aries does not want people telling them things. It's that ego energy. It deals with the solar plexus. That's what Mars is all about. It's that solar plexus chakra. When we look at the chakras within the body, confidence, the identity, which sometimes can go into the ego. The ego is in here as well. So it's like you guys might struggle with that a little bit, where it's like, no, I know best. You guys could be stubborn as well, but this energy sometimes could cost you guys. That's the thing with the Aries energy that I talk about sometimes. Sometimes for them, especially because you guys have it in the Mars, and this deals with how you guys handle conflict, because this is that access of the self versus groups of people and interpersonal relationships. Sometimes for you guys, let's say you guys can maybe sacrifice a lot of your relationships, or you guys can lose relationships throughout your life, or friends or individuals overall, because it comes back down to the self. Because it does deal with conflict, you guys are really going to have to learn conflict resolution when you have Mars in Aries, anger management, really learning about your emotions and really getting a grasp on them, because the energy can be very impulsive and you guys can become very emotionally impulsive. Let's say there's a fight or an argument, you guys might start yelling right away, or you guys can be very explosive right away, or you guys might feel the need to say something right away. Actually, recently I said in one of my lives that the Aries energy, what a lot of people don't know about them, because it bounces off of the opposition, we always want to look at the oppositional energy. Aries is very much all about justice. This is what a lot of people don't notice with Aries energy. They have this huge need for justice, and that comes from the Libra energy. That is the oppositional energy. So when something's happening to Mars and Aries, because this is how you guys handle conflict, and you guys feel like it's not fair, or you guys feel like it's not just, or you guys feel like you're not getting your own way, especially in the earlier part of your life, maybe when you guys are a little bit more unaware, it can very much go into like temper tantrum energy, being explosive, or just like feeling the need to say something right away because the need for justice comes through. But it's like, as time goes on, you guys are going to have to learn how to regulate this, because sometimes people around you might not want to deal with that. Unfortunately, they might not want to deal with things like emotional outbursts, or like angry outbursts, or like yelling, or even violence sometimes. Unfortunately, this energy can go into violence, because Mars is the god of war. Aries is ruled by Mars, so it's even double of this energy. So it's like you guys can sometimes fall into this shadow, unfortunately, but overall, you guys are going to be very aggressive, and you guys want to channel the energy in a positive direction. The way that I see, let's say, anger in the body, it's in the same spectrum as passion. So a lot of the time, people who are angry about something, it's like you guys can really channel this energy into passion. Let's say somebody upsets you, channel it into your projects, channel it into your dreams, channel it into your goals. When that Mars and Aries energy is streamlined and focused on that goal, boom, you guys are basically excelling at whatever it is that you guys want to excel. It's just that aspect where it's like you guys are going to have to kind of commit to doing something over an extended period of time, because I can very much see this energy, the Mars and Aries energy, like maybe later on in life, thinking to themselves like, oh, I started that project, or I started this thing, or I started that other thing, or like this career. And it's like maybe you guys dropped it, but maybe you guys dropped it prematurely, because once again, it comes back down to that instant gratification. It's very much like when we look at at least in the West, the world that we're living in, it's very much short-term gratification based. It's like you order Amazon Prime, you get Amazon Prime the next day. So these types of things you think about, I want to go get this from the store, you go to the store and you're able to buy that, like whatever it is, right? Maybe in some countries they don't have the availability, but in the West, I'm just kind of using this as an example. You think it and you can go and access that thing. That's very much that Mars and Aries energy. So it's like, especially for people who are maybe in the West and they have Mars and Aries, it could very much be a struggle when it comes to your goals, because so many things in the West are very accessible. You know, it's very fast. You can get them right away. So because you guys are exposed to this, it feels very much like a struggle when you guys aren't getting what you want right away. You might drop it. You guys might move on to the next thing, because in a way it affects your self-esteem. That's the thing, because Aries is about the self. And for you guys, for anywhere where people have Mars in their chart, you can kind of look and see, what do these people put their worth into? So for you guys really put your worth into yourselves, into your achievements, into getting things, into starting things, being the best, being number one. So when you guys are able to achieve these things and get them, and maybe be the first one to do that thing, or the first one to start that trend, or whatever it is, you know, maybe all your friends around you have been talking about for years, I want to start this business, I want to do this thing, and boom, you're the first one to start it. That's kind of what you guys build your self-worth around. So for you guys, let's say you guys fall into the shadow and it's like maybe you guys aren't starting something, or you guys aren't taking advantage of that Mars and Aries energy. Well, in that case, what might happen is you guys might go into the shadow of Mars and Aries, and then you're pulling from the shadow of Libra. Maybe then in that case, you guys might care too much about what people think. Maybe you guys might be indecisive. That's another thing with Aries energy that I've noticed. Aries tends to be even more indecisive than Libra. It's the oppositional energies, just how they bounce off of each other. If you guys notice yourselves falling into these things, maybe you guys haven't started a goal in a while, or maybe you guys haven't pushed yourselves out of your comfort zone, or whatever it is. Maybe you guys care too much about what people think, or maybe you guys are constantly debating something, you know, maybe you're like, should I do it this way? Should I do it that way? Then in that case, if that's happening, you guys can know that you guys are probably falling into the shadow of Aries, which is that Libra shadow energy. And again, you guys want to balance this energy within. This is how the oppositional energies for everybody, for every sign work, okay? They work together, and you kind of want to master both in a way, because the thing is, for whatever reason, when we're operating out of our unconscious or our subconscious and we're not aware of these things, what tends to happen is they tend to be in the driver's seat. So that's something that I've noticed with Aries energy as well. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk about in this video as well was the Mars and Aries energy is going to be very good at things like athletics, anything to do with the physical body. You guys always need to be moving. You guys always need to be on the go. You guys are very fiery. You guys are filled with passion, excitement, like excited for life, right? Is really what it is when you have Mars and Aries. So it's like, let's say you guys are working at a job where you maybe have to sit for 8 hours a day. Probably isn't going to work. Or if you guys have to work that job, because sometimes in life you do what you got to do, right? People have day jobs and these types of things. So if that is the particular era in your life, you guys have a higher goal in mind that you guys are trying to achieve. But the thing is, you guys do not want to get bored. So let's say you guys are working a job that maybe would be too mundane for you guys, or ordinary, or it might be too much like sitting and not movement. Well, maybe then in the evenings you guys are doing something that fuels that Mars and Aries energy, where it's like the focus is actually on that, and this other thing is just kind of like a means to an end, because you guys have some sort of higher goal in mind, something that you guys are working towards. Make sure that you guys continue it. So the thing is, this energy, like, because it's fire, and if the fire energy isn't moving and it isn't going, it can kind of start to in a way self-destruct. You guys might fall into self-sabotage tendencies. You guys might start to like cause dramas like around you, or just become violent, or just become aggressive, or just have a lot of pent-up anger, a lot of pent-up energy. So another really, really good thing for this energy is exercise, for sure. I'm sure you guys already do that. If you guys have Mars and Aries, you guys are going to be very good athletes. So it depends on the rest of your natal chart, but you guys are definitely going to be very good at athletics if this is something that you guys do choose to pursue. It has to be some sort of sport where you guys are number one. You guys are being seen. You guys are the best. So team sports, probably not so much. You guys might not be too interested in these types of things because you guys want to shine. You guys want the team to shine. Or let's say you guys are in a team, let's say that manifests for whatever reason. You guys want to be the number one player, okay? You guys want to be like the top player, like the Ronaldos and like these types of people. I'm actually curious now to know what his Mars is in. I'll probably look it up after this video. For you guys, you need to be number one. So doing things where it's like running or boxing or swimming or tennis, like anything that doesn't involve a partner or a team, you guys are probably going to excel at these things, because in a way, Mars and Aries is in competition with themselves. That's what it really comes down to. It's like you guys are always trying to one up yourselves, and that's why sometimes it comes off selfish, because it's like you guys are just about your own goals. That's the thing. For Mars and Aries, you guys just have your own like vision. It's almost like in a way you're in your own world. It's very self-consumed, so that's why I guess sometimes it might come off quote unquote selfish. It's that oppositional energy to Libra. You guys aren't meant to really focus on other people unless you guys are being strategic to maybe get to some sort of end goal. Now, this energy sometimes might fall under that whole like quote unquote saying of like God complex, where it's like guys just think that in a way you guys are larger than life. Like that is very much that energy. Aries energy is something to watch out for, because sometimes when people are on that super high and they think they're invincible and they think they're unstoppable, well, sometimes this overconfidence can sometimes maybe be a huge downfall, where it's like maybe you guys missed something, or you guys didn't see something, or maybe there was small fine print somewhere. But overall, like people are going to be very attracted to you guys in terms of your confidence. You guys are going to be attracted to confident, ambitious people who are assertive. You guys can be very blunt in the way that you speak when you have Mars and Aries. You guys might be very aggressive in the way that you guys speak. Overall, you guys are going to be very passionate. You guys can probably sell anything to people, especially yourselves. To be an entrepreneur, to be a successful business person overall, to even be a good manager or even get into those positions, you have to be able to sell yourself. But sometimes this energy can be BSing, right? Sometimes again, people can get enamored with your confidence, with a confident vibe. And this energy, honestly, when you have Mars and Aries, you guys are probably going to ace every single interview that you guys do, because it's the vibe. Let's say someone's interviewing you guys can talk a lot of like nothing. That's the thing with this energy. It's like it can literally not even know anything, let's say, about the company that it's interviewing for. Let's say, you know, when they say like, why do you want to work for this company? You guys can pull something out of nowhere. You guys can be like, this is why, and this is why, and that is why. The managers can still be like very enamored by you guys, right? Where it's like, oh my gosh, there's like something about that person that I feel like they're gonna get the job done. And on top of that, if you guys pull from Libra, like that charming overall energy, very good at selling things, but especially yourselves. Now, you guys don't want to fall into things like being a con artist. You guys give off this very confident vibe, very sure of yourself, even overconfident. And honestly, sometimes in life you have to be overconfident. The people who kind of just go after things even before they're ready, that's very much that Mars and Aries energy. Like you guys just jump into these things before you guys are ready. Sometimes you guys bite off even more than you can chew. And the thing is like a lot of the time you guys do feel like you can really achieve these things. That's the thing. And most of the time you do. That's the thing, because at the end of the day, everything comes to our own perception of reality. And for you guys, again, it's this overconfident energy that you guys have. But what happens sometimes is like you guys can also bite off more than you can chew, and you guys can struggle to ask for help, for example. That's where you guys want to bounce into that Libra energy, where it's like you start to use the community around you. Sometimes this energy can burn bridges. I will also put that in there as well. So again, you guys want to learn from Libra to create good partnerships, to keep good connections, to kind of learn, build from your community. Doesn't mean you guys have to be a part of it. You know, you guys can still be number one, but it'll definitely save you guys maybe even a lot of time in the future, or just like maybe sometimes you guys might burden yourselves with like biting off more than you can chew, not asking for help, thinking you guys have to do everything on your own, when it's like, hey, just like go to your community, see maybe how you can allocate tasks and these types of things. Let's say you guys are working in managerial roles. Now in this video, also really quickly, I wanted to touch on how you guys might express yourself sexually. So for a Mars and Aries person, it's all about the passion, it's all about the fire. Okay, it could be also all about the quickies. Like you guys can be like, boom, like let's go into the closet like right now during our shift or whatever it is. That's very much Mars and Aries energy. They're not like gonna be the types that like long drawn out things. Obviously it depends on the rest of your natal chart at the end of the day, but overall the Mars and Aries energy, very fast, quick. They kind of just like sometimes even just like want to get it done. This energy can also fall into being selfish in this area as well. I do have to say that, where it could be just about the self or just about what they want. They might not focus on the other person. Yes, it could happen this way, but overall it's all about passion. So it's like sometimes this energy can fall into just like dynamics where it's like it's very passionate, and that's why they stick around the relationship or whatever the dynamic is, maybe situationship. Also, this energy can channel their anger in this area. Unfortunately, I'm trying to minimize how many times I say certain words in this video. Sometimes you guys might even like start arguments just to build up that passion, just to build up that anger. So there is a release. That's another thing that can definitely take place with Mars and Aries as well. Mars and Aries overall as a placement, conflict is going to be a huge theme in your lives. You guys aren't going to be afraid of confrontation. You guys might be very confrontational yourself. So learning to be a little bit more diplomatic from the Libra energy, picking your battles. Again, when it's underdeveloped, you guys might feel the need to say everything, feel the need to put people in their place right away. And that's the thing, because it's like this energy in a way is trying to assert its dominance. Like, I am the best, I am number one. That is the energy. But eventually, as time goes on and this energy evolves, you guys just come into that silent confidence, you know, where it's like you guys just walk into a room and you guys are aware that you guys are number one. Everyone's gravitating towards you guys. You guys don't have to do anything to overcompensate in this area. People just know. And that at the end of the day is the truest form of confidence, where it's like everybody just knows. It's the overall vibe that you guys carry, and you guys already carry this energy within you. But maybe when you guys are a little bit more in the shadow, you guys might want that validation. It deals with that solar plexus chakra. One more thing that I just remembered that I wanted to say in this video as well is like, this energy needs things to think that they are their own idea. So like, let's say you guys are watching as a cross watcher for someone who has Mars and Aries. You can never be the one to tell them and be like, let's do this, let's go to this place. They have to come to that conclusion on their own, because if you say to a Mars and Aries, let's do this, and it's not their idea, the ego will come through and they'll kind of just like want to contradict you just to contradict you. Unfortunately, it's just the nature of the energy. So when you guys are learning to work with a Mars and Aries person, in a way, just like allow things to be their own idea. Give them the time, give them the space, give them the independence to kind of come to conclusions on their own. Let's say you guys are making plans, maybe they bring it up and maybe you guys are the types that are like, okay, like let's do it. Are we gonna do it? The more that you guys are maybe wanting to do it, the more that they might want to contradict this energy. Honestly, just because of the nature of the way that the energy is, or even if they said they wanted to do it and then you guys come through and you bring it up again and they don't have that space for it to be their own thing, their own idea, very much can go into the shadow where it's like, I don't want to do that, we're not doing that. So you guys kind of have to give them the space to kind of come to these conclusions on their own and not really push anything with a Mars and Aries person, because ultimately at the end of the day, Mars and Aries is all about themselves, going after their goals, their own ideas. It's really all about the self. So for you guys who have Mars and Aries, you guys are really here to master the self, who you guys truly are, your confidence. What does confidence mean to you guys? Starting something, some sort of goal and dream and ambition, and actually continuing it to see it through until the end, because that fire energy, that passion within will get to the end goal if you guys, once again, are able to see it through until the end. So my dear friends, with all that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here on Mars and Aries. I do hope you guys enjoyed my video. If you did, please do like, share, and subscribe, and I hope you all have a beautiful rest of the day.